Okay, welcome to our first Let's Play of Total War Warhammer 2 for, a few of my friends. They said they wanted to see me play as the Lizardmen here. We're going to play as Mazdamundi because why not be a giant toad that kills rats? So let's get right into it here. As you can see, there are a few special attributes of the Lizardmen. One is they have the geomantic web that boosts commandments in all your cities. I'll show you that when we get into it. They have special spawnings. If you complete certain missions, you get a special spawning for a unit, which means it's just a stronger version of that unit. And then obviously they have a lot of beasts, stegodons, carnosaurs, things like that. You can see Mazdamundi himself has negative diplomatic relations with most factions. He has the 50% decrease in construction costs for the Star Chamber. That's actually really good. Right cost minus 30% as well. I'll show you that when we get in game. That's big. Slan Mage Priest capacity. I kind of prefer keeping melee lords besides Mazdamundi, so But then the big one is the minus 50% for Temple Guard units. Upkeep. That is really good because Lizardmen units get really expensive really fast, so let's hop into this.
Since the days of creation, the reptiles have dominated the jungle continent of Lustria. The ignorant call the creatures Lizardmen. The wise know them as defenders of the world. In ages past, the Old Ones had a plan. But then the stellar gates collapsed, the Old Ones fled, and demons flooded the mortal plane. Led by the Slan, the Lizardmen fought the demons that surged across Lustria. Yet, it was the elves that created the Great Vortex. A swirling maelstrom that siphoned the world of chaos, withering demonkind. The world was saved, but the Vortex endures only because it is bolstered by the power of the Slan, via the Great Warding. If the warding should fail, the demons will return.
The forked tongue of Vortex hangs low in the sky. The Slan have felt it. Now I see it. Brighter, clearer. Its hiss disturbs the winds of magic. Look, dark rags, the sacred plaques. One prophecy shines above all others. Vortex of the warm blood. But the full meaning cannot be deciphered. It
All right, so quite the introduction there. They went away from the full, cinematic movie feel. More cartoony, but I kind of like it. So let's get right into this. Right here, we got to get rid of the Skeggi. That's going to be our first mission, as it says down there. Skeggi are Norse invaders of Lustria. Lustria is the home of the Lizardmen. So I'm sure Mr. Advisor will tell us all about it.
Do not be fooled by this form, Lord Mazdamundi of the second generation. I bring you knowledge of the old ones, for now is the time to enact the next stage of the great plan. The Warmbloods, or Norse as they call themselves, have seen fit to trespass upon your jungles once again. They seek to ransack your sacred temples and carry off the treasure within to distant lands. While the Solar City itself remains uncompromised, the enemy have rampaged across your wider territory, overrunning several smaller cities near the coast. Though your rapid return brings some welcome additional forces, the situation remains grim. See for yourself.
Alright, so as you can see, we can move around the campaign map with A for left, D for right.
That dwell on the edge of the jungle, but never have they marched against you in such numbers. It would seem that Vortex Comet has incited the lesser races into acts of madness.
And then S and W for up and down, so.
The City of the Sun is well defended, enlightened Lord. Scars on its outer walls bear witness to the numberless attacks it has repulsed over the millennia. Yet the Warmbloods pour forward in great number. Be in no doubt that your capital is gravely threatened, my lord. The Norskans have overrun a number of your monuments in the jungle interior. These are ancient centers of power, and that power cannot be allowed to remain in the hands of such children as the Skeggi. The Norse Warmbloods have advanced too close to your position, revered Lord Mazdamundi. Now is the perfect time to attack. Select your army first.
Okay, so you see here how it tells you can move. We can go up and down by using the scroll wheel on the mouse. We can change direction like that using Q and E, and then just directionally north, south, east, west you can use AWSD. So first we're going to select Mazdamundi here, and we are going to attack
the enemy, my lord. They are
these Skeggi invaders.
Not prepared for an attack so soon. Battle is upon you, Lord Mazdamundi.
All
The
right.
Norse are strong and savage, but your Saurus warriors are surely more deadly still. Blood shall be shed.
Let's roll. Alright, so I skipped over on that one, but that bar with the yellow and the red, that just shows you the balance of power between your army and the enemy army. We'll get into that later. And again, I just really think they did a great job the way this game looks, their units.
The scent of Warmbloods drifts in the air, Lord Mazdamundi. The enemy are surely close but unseen. Survey the area yourself.
Alright, so camera works same as it does on the campaign map. Scroll wheel up and down, AWSD, north, south, east, west.
Your presence on the field inspires those you command, Lord Mazdamundi. Under your wise instruction, they advance against the enemy with confidence. Wield your awesome power wisely.
Your fearsome cohorts line up ready for battle, revered lord. They await only your command to advance. The hills and valleys of this place conceal the enemy's whereabouts, my lord. This hilltop should afford a good view over the surrounding area.
Alright, now what they don't mention right there.
The time has come to advance, my lord. First, select your own unit in order to rejoin your forces.
Is that not only are hills good for viewing the enemy, but they're also good for taking an advantage.
Now issue a move order towards your army. The troops are
I'll show you what that
assembled
means
and
here in a
await your
second.
arrival.
Okay, let's go here. You can double right click. If you right click, you move your unit.
Excellent.
If you double
Your
right click,
place
they
is
run.
amongst your warriors, mighty lord. Your very presence encourages them to fight harder.
And we talk about the aura is this blue ring around
The time has come
Mazdamundi,
to
which you
advance
saw
your
previously.
warriors, my lord. Select your whole army so that the order may be given to all.
Alright. So as I showed you in a previous video, you can group characters, but since this is a tutorial,
Good.
apparently we're not
Now
able to do
order
that.
your army forward, my lord. Let us crest this ridge and find where the enemy lies.
If you hold Alt and left click, you can move your whole army as one unit, and we are going to hit the
Excellent.
fast forward
Your army
button so they
advance in
run.
search of the enemy, my lord. Take this time to practice maneuvering your forces while not under threat of attack. Remember always that orders are issued only to units currently selected.
Okay. So if you want to see where your characters are going to wind up that are moving, you just hit the space bar, and those arrows will tell you. Come on. It's unfortunate we don't have the fast forward button right now. Alright, there we go.
The enemy come into sight, my lord. We have caught them by surprise. Advance quickly before they can retreat.
Alright, so I think they're going to come at us anyway. So we are not going to charge them like old Mr. Advisor said. We're going to stay on this hill, because what happens with the hill is that affords your army an advantage. But I think... Okay, yeah, they're going to stay at the bottom of the hill, so I guess we're going to have to go get them anyway. So, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go down there. We're going to kick some face. Alright, so... Can't group the characters right now, apparently, because it's a tutorial, so I'll show you how to properly attack formation next
Attack,
battle.
my lord Mazdamundi. Attack! Drive the barbarous warmbloods from your sacred jungles.
But we should take this no problem. Saurus warriors are much better than these
Assign
Chaos
individual
Marauders.
targets for each of your units when attacking, my lord. Keep a wide formation. Do not let your forces be surrounded.
That's a good piece of advice. You don't want your units surrounded.
Be sure to keep watch on your warriors in battle, my lord. Their very lives may depend on it.
Alright, let's get a shot of this. Mazdamundi just pounding barbarians like it's his job. Now, normally I wouldn't send a magic lord against a melee lord. And in fact, if you see here, these orange swords means in the red, goes to orange or red, that unit is losing their melee combat. If it's green, they're winning their melee combat.
The enemy lose the will to fight. See how they run from the battle. Press your advantage.
But this right here, when they're talking about the unit's leadership, I will get into that in a minute. Basically, oh,
Look, Lord Mazdamundi, more Norse invaders advance against you. They come forward in great numbers. Move quickly to defend this ridge, my lord. The trees will grant your warriors cover, while the slope will provide them an advantage in combat.
alright,
Advance
so
upon the ridge without delay, my lord. That position offers you the best chance of victory against such a number. Order your forces forward, quickly. A party of skinks, my lord. Press these allies into your service. Some amongst their number carry javelins to throw. These will prove most useful against the enemy.
alright. Get some
The
reinforcements in here.
now
This is
fall
good
under
stuff.
your control, my lord. Move the infantry into your front line. The extra bodies are sorely needed.
Alright, so I always put my spears or
Place
shielded
your
units on
fresh
the
missile
outside.
troops behind your army. They will fire automatically if the enemy
I
come
do
into
that
range.
because they normally have more defense and usually have a higher charge defense against large foes, which usually come on the sides. This battle we don't have to worry about it because it's just marauders, but that's just my rule of thumb when attacking or defending. Gotta get these guys to move, so we'll give them a run order. And I apologize, I forgot this tutorial was so long.
Be sure to arrange your infantry in a line for the coming battle, my lord. Each unit should cover the flank of the next. Do not let the enemy attack the sides of your formation or break through to the rear.
Again, that's why I like to keep the more heavily armored units on the sides. Harder to flank. Therefore, less of a leadership hit
Excellent, my
to your
lord.
army.
The ridge is yours. Move your infantry out to block the pass and await the enemy's arrival. Do not be tempted out of position.
If anybody can hear that, that's just the superstar extra in apparently all my videos, my Bulldog Daisy. So that's just comes with the territory, I guess, of watching one of my Let's Plays. So I'm just kidding, she's a good girl. I'm going to put Lord Mazdamundi in the middle. Again, that blue ring is the ring of his aura of leadership. With that, you know, your armies get a boost in leadership, meaning they'll stick around in battle longer, they'll fight better. So definitely it is a good thing to have. As you can see with these ranged units, I can toggle fire at will, so I can either have them fire at anybody that they want, or I can turn that off and then have them only target specific units. I can also toggle skirmish mode. Skirmish mode means they would stop firing and run away from characters that are shooting at them, and then they would reform and then fire again, and then if they're still getting chased, they would run away again. But you know, I keep it on at all times, but for this battle it shouldn't, hopefully, be an issue, because hopefully we'll have this whole ridge protected. Now again, they are coming up the hill at us, and that should afford us a big advantage in terms of attack and defense. In Total War games, it is a big advantage to be the ones on the hill as opposed to the ones coming up the hill. So let's do this. Skinks, do your thing. Alright. And we're going gonna charge our
The enemy are
army
nearly upon you,
in.
my lord. Be sure to make your presence felt in the coming battle. You have many abilities to rally and empower your troops. Now is the time to use them.
Okay, they basically just made me use a buff that's going to buff my character's melee defense and leadership. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to be the ones surrounding these units. And now my missiles aren't firing because they will not fire into their own units. But if you order them to shoot past those units into, say, these guys back here, they will throw their javelins or shoot their arrows or their bullets over the heads of their comrades and into the enemy. So just be aware of that. I always thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to throw Mazdamundi in here, get more of an attack advantage there, help these guys out in the middle. This Mazdamundi, he is a melee, or he's a magic user, but he can do okay in combat. And you can see these skinks aren't attacking because they're too far on the hill, so we're just going to send them in to battle to back up our guys. And I'm actually going to have Mazdamundi try and attack this enemy lord here. He's getting attacked by skinks right now as it is, so might as well try and put the hurt on.
Mounted reinforcements, my lord. Hurry them into battle, for they are sorely needed.
Alright, so here's where flanking gets really important. Your mounted unit is called a hammer and anvil tactic, where your anvil are those melee troops holding down the enemy, and the hammer are the charging cavalry units. So cavalry units usually have a very large charge bonus. That means that on the initial charge into the enemy, they're going to do a lot of damage. So let's watch these guys go to work here. And I'm going to spread these guys out because the wider they are, you see these two big targets here, just nice meaty targets for our cavalry to run into. As you can see, our source warriors doing pretty well.
Have them charge the enemy rear. The impact alone may break their courage to fight.
We're going to buff our units again, give them more melee defense. It's going to be harder for the enemy to hit them. And let's watch these guys go to work here. Oh yeah. Yeah, having some barbarian for lunch. Yep, and as you can see, this gray bar, that is the leadership bar. It is totally broken the enemy. Flanking is huge. If they're not able to cut through your front line and they get hit from behind, the enemy will run. And most of the time that is the best and easiest way to win a battle. So just be aware of that. The defeated Norse scatter into the jungle, chased by Talon and Claw alike. Lord Mazdamundi soon halts the pursuit, knowing that in time the deadly jungles will exact their own terrible price on the wounded invaders. His attention has already turned to the reclamation of those other Lizardmen temple cities, still under warm blood occupation.
The Skeggi flee before your awesome bulk, Lord Mazdamundi. It only remains to decide the fate of those captured in battle.
Okay, so we have three options. We have release captives. Giving up a source of fresh flesh from vanquished captives, even with a good reason, leaves an army weaker. So we could fatten our coffers, get some more treasure, but we lose casualty replenishment. As you can see, we did lose some creatures there. You know, this unit had 100, now it only has 84. Same with this 96, 96. They're supposed to be at 100. So that would prevent them from getting back to 100. We can exterminate. Exterminating these captives will further the old one's great plan. That will give every unit in my army 100 experience. Ranking up units is huge. A higher tier low unit can actually defeat higher tier non-upgraded units. So basically if this Source Warrior is rank 9 and it goes up against a rank 1 Temple Guard, it could probably take it, just because of all the buffs it's got on it from experience. I'd have to check that, but that's how that works. And then last here we have Kill and Eat. Pretty simple. A Feast of Flesh aids recovery. So we want to get back up to 100%. If you see, I hover over this, and those yellow bars there above my creatures, see how this is black, it goes to yellow. That's going to tell you how much replenishment your characters get from eating these guys. We're going to eat them. We're going to get back up to 100%.
Your forces are weary from battle, yet they still retain some strength to march on. See for yourself. The distance your army can still move is shown around it, my lord. Plan your movements wisely, for your armies cannot defend the realm if they are not present to fight.
Alright.
As one Skeggy force is defeated, so may others be sent to replace it. Move now to block the route to your capital, lest the Warmbloods risk another attack. Good. Your army now blocks the approach to your capital. Any attack by the enemy will need to get by you first. See for yourself how your forces control the area around them. Life proliferates in the spawning pools, revered lord. More reptilian servants may be spawned into your service. Breed them now, and they will be ready to fight in the battles to come.
Okay, so we're going to look at unit recruitment. You click on your lord. You click here, and we can recruit one of two here. We can recruit skink cohorts. Those are non-ranged. You can tell that because of the little mace there, and because it calls them cudgel infantry. If you look at the unit card there on the left-hand side, skink cohort javelins. Those are missile infantry. You can see up there in their unit card. It calls it out. They only have an ammunition of 3, so they literally have 3 javelins, and then they're gonna go into melee. But you know what? These guys are shielded. They have poison attacks. Poison attacks slow the enemy. They also reduce melee attack and melee defense. So that is really useful, especially for early in a battle. So we're just going to go heavy javelin. Yeah, you know what? Because these skink javelins...
Be aware that the recruits will take time to train, and that your army must remain stationary while they do so.
Okay. So the good thing about these skink javelins is once they are done throwing their javelins, they're perfectly fine in melee combat, at least early game. So we're just going to use the ranged ones and get some tosses in before we're done.
You will, of course, be aware that armed forces cost currency to build and maintain. Be sure to keep watch on your finances, lest ruin overtakes you.
All right.
Let us review what destruction the warm-blooded trespassers have wrought on your territory, enlightened lord. Select the temple city to inspect your province.
Okay.
The province surrounding your capital is shown here, my lord. A province may contain many cities, each exerting authority over the territory surrounding them. Control the cities, and you control the land.
Easy enough.
Cities within the local province are shown here, my lord, along with any facilities they contain.
Easy enough.
Shown also are those cities in the province that were lost to the enemy.
So you can see which faction owns it.
Are shown here, my lord. Work needs to be done to improve its readiness for war. Here we may see the state of the province that surrounds your capital. The enemy raids have caused considerable unrest. Public order is suffering, as you can see, my lord. The agitators will need calming in time, but matters of defense are more pressing.
This red number right here, that means that next turn public order is going to go down another -6. So we're going to be at -40. At -100, you get a rebellion, and a rebel army pops up, and they can attack your city, they can raid your land, which leads to lower income. They can attack any of your armies, so it's something to look out for. growth right here. You want your cities to grow. Every time you get one growth, it helps in upgrading the, I forget what they're called, but basically the capitals, the city halls. How you get higher tech buildings, you have to upgrade this initial building up here first. So you want high growth. And then of course, here's your income from this city. Corruption effects we'll get into later. But right now, this city itself is only making 130 gold a turn.
Your cities are the backbone of your state, my lord. Taxes are raised through them, and they provide the infrastructure necessary to support your armies. I humbly suggest you commission upgrades to your capital as soon as possible.
And as you can see, look at all those buffs on the left-hand side. Income generated is upgraded. You get more ancient plaques, you get higher growth, you get extra income from all buildings. In this, not only this province, but in all adjacent regions and provinces. And you get to construct more buildings, as well as you get more defenders. You see the garrison there, you get a pterodon rider, you get 4 Saurus warriors, 2 temple guards, you get a lot. So let's build this.
Good. Construction will begin immediately, but will take some time to complete. There is nothing more you can do for now, my lord. Let us await your enemy's next move.
Okay, so gonna have to cut this off pretty soon. I'll make another one right after this because that was all intro by the advisor. We didn't really talk about much.
The enemy opt to attack your position, my lord. Ready your forces, for battle is upon you once more.
Okay, so let's fight this one. And then we'll be done.
Battle is upon you once again, my lord. Your forces are ready to deploy for the coming engagement. They may be positioned anywhere within the area.
Okay, so you see the yellow area
Always
here.
survey the terrain prior to battle and position your troops to gain an edge. The enemy gave battle, so the onus is on them to attack. Use this to your advantage.
Okay, so
This forest may be used to conceal your forces. Arrange your cavalry here, my lord, and they will remain unseen until the enemy draw close.
okay, so he wants me to toss my cavalry into the woods. Fine.
Good. Your troops are now hidden from enemy sight, as you can see.
So you see
Pay
there,
attention
that
to
means your units are
cards, my
hidden.
lord, for they indicate the status of your troops. Be mindful of your army. Success on the battlefield depends upon it.
So these green bar, that's the unit health. This yellow bar, that's only for missile units, and that's how much ammunition they have left. And I'll show you wavering once
This
and
ridge
if my
will afford
creatures
your
start to
troops
waver.
an edge in the coming battle, my lord. Place the rest of your troops close by and claim its forward slopes once battle begins.
Okay. So maybe, okay, so I can group my units finally. I showed you guys that in a previous video, so I don't feel like we need to go over that too much. So again, I always have the melee front with my range right behind. I like doing it that way. And then we'll have Mazdamundi right here.
Good. Your troops are ready, my lord. Just give the signal and the engagement shall begin.
Alright, let's do this. Press Alt,
To
left
arms,
click.
then. The enemy
We're gonna
enter the
move
field.
our
Advance
army
and
up
claim
on
the
that
hilltop,
ridge.
my lord. Its slopes will serve your forces well.
And
Keep your
instead
cavalry hidden.
of waiting and keeping my cavalry back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send one off here. I'm going to send one off right here on the edge. And I'm going to put these guys on guard
My
mode.
lord, the enemy field artillery against you. They will be able to strike against your forces at great range. Employ your hidden forces, my lord. Advance them through the forest, and they will be able to quickly surprise and overwhelm the enemy war machines.
Okay, we were already doing that, but thank you, advisor. If you hold shift and right click in a hold, you can actually draw lines like that and make them run around.
Employ all that you have learned. Wear them down with missiles, pin them with infantry, then hit them in the flanks.
So with these Marauder horsemen, a lot of people have problems with them because they are very mobile archers. I just take my skirmishers and basically shoot them to death because they'll stand there toe-to-toe with you until you do something about them. And I don't know, we're not running. Okay, that's a problem. We're not going to use that yet. I will explain those in a minute. There we go. So our skinks are finally wearing these guys down. In the meantime, we're going to put these guys on guard mode, as I was going to say. That means they're not going to move from that spot, which is extremely helpful. We're going to charge these cold ones into their melee. See, they are not spears, so they're not going to, they don't have a bonus against infantry, or a bonus against large. So, as you can see, our cold one riders just kind of wiped them out. I'm not too worried about these Marauder horsemen. They're not going to do too much damage to our cold one riders. In fact, they'll probably just run away eventually. We're going to reform our skirmishers, aka ranged units, and as you can see, cold one rider is making quick work of this hell cannon, killing all the Dawizar, aka dark dwarves. So our cold ones are doing work over there. Let's see what's going on the hill. What we're going to do is we're going to start surrounding this unit to break their will to fight, basically. I'm going to send these swords down because these guys are on a hill, and that's a big time disadvantage for these guys, and they're not going to like that at all. They're going to have a bad day. Alright. Okay, so now we're going to have Mazdamundi cast this harmonic convergence on these units. As you can see, they have orange sword above them. This boosted their melee attack and melee defense. Those units previously were struggling against the enemy they were fighting. As you can see, they're going from orange to green, which means they're winning their melee combat now. I switched my skinks from ranged to melee so that they can get in and help on this fight in the flank. And Apotheosis, as you can see, not only replenishes hit points but causes fear. If you cast a spell that causes fear, the enemy unit will lose leadership rapidly, and now you can see they've broken. So we've taken care of that. These Cold One Riders are just cleaning up over here. In fact, we'll have them go chase these Marauder Horsemen, because you can see that gray bar, their leadership is slowly creeping up, and there they come. They're coming back. And we'll send these Cold One Riders against them too. We want to take care of these guys once and for all. I will send Mazdamundi after this guy. Okay, we see the red sword. We want to make sure that guy can hold his own, so we cast Harmonic Convergence on him. You see all green swords, that's a good thing. That's what you want to see. That means they're winning all their battles.
The enemy have been put
there
to
we go.
flight, my lord. Victory is yours.
So that's just battle 101. And we're going to want to clean up these units for experience, so we'll just fast forward and see if we can kill this enemy lord. I don't think so. I don't think Mazdamundi's gonna catch up to him anytime soon, so we'll end the battle. As you saw, we stood and took the artillery fire so that we could get our cavalry in to take out the artillery entirely. We did take a few more losses that time, so we are going to kill and eat again. As you saw, we also gained some loot. Alright, so that is where we will leave it. Just gonna exit out of this. Mission issued, but from You Cannot Do That. A lot of the Lizardmen special characters have, you know, funny play on word names like that. I do enjoy You Cannot Do That. Trespassers. Capture and occupy a settlement belonging to the following faction, Skaggy. It even shows you their unit card so you know what it looks like. So you see this is Skaggy. If you hold it over the settlement, it'll tell you who owns it right there. And you can also click on it and we'll pull this up and you can hover over that. That calls it Skaggy. Your words are law, revered master. The untamed ones of the Skaggy colony must be disciplined. Purge them from where they squat and reclaim our settlements. So we'll get 1,000 gold, which is good. We only have 4,000 right now, so more gold the better. And ancient plaques. I will explain those in the next episode. But we are good to go here. We have one more thing, it looks like. An extra spawning in the Solar City. The old one, Chotek, patron of Hexawatl, has blessed the city with an extra spawning. They join your cohorts ready to aid in expelling the corrupted Warmbloods from Sacred Lustria. So we just received Temple Guard and Bastiladon in Mazdamundi's army. The Temple Guard are the best melee unit for the Lizardmen. They're a very good unit overall. One of the best in the game. And then Bastiladon Solar Engine, that is a giant armored dinosaur with a giant laser beam on top of it. Not joking. So that'll be cool to watch. Here we have Mazdamundi gained a relic sword. Okay, he got +4 weapon strength now. Okay, so there we are. Alright, well, thanks for watching. I will catch you guys later. Bye.